Hey dude, it's your boy Core, and guess what? I'm coming at you. It's a Bleach review. Actually, it's not a Bleach review. It's a Bleach prediction 678. Basically, guys, I've been wrong on every single prediction I've done in a lot of my series, but my Bleach predictions still maintain to be hot, exciting, high energy, and actually pretty accurate too. So guess what I'm delivering. I did take a break on my predictions because several factors. One, I was deathly ill, so how am I supposed to predict Bleach if I can barely get out of bed? But I mean, good thing that didn't happen. Good thing I'm still here. Look, the first thing we need to predict is Bleach Ichigo's bankai and also his parents. What are Isshin and what are Ryukin gonna do? Also, we need to predict. Basically, yes, I can guarantee you guys that Ichigo's bankai is not gonna do anything against Yhwach. I think what actually is gonna happen is that, similar to his fight with Ukura, he's going to get pummeled, right? When Ichigo, when he pulled on the mask, initially he got pummeled by Ukura, okay? And he kept getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled. And then it was seeming, it wasn't that bad. And then Ukura went second, Singuru did top it, right? Similar things can happen to Yhwach. Ichigo's bankai is not going to be able to do anything against his Yhwach current form and Yhwach's released forms after this, because he does have released forms. And actually, this isn't just a random prediction. The reason I say all this is because Ichigo's little speech at the end of 677, where he talks about despair, and he says, I mean, I like the speech, right? In my 677 review, I actually did a little live action speech there, but he says that so he's seen despair, and he's beaten despair several times. He keeps climbing over, right? And so it's like, again, this battle, I think for him, it's like, I'm not tired of your despair. Well, here's the thing. Ukura's epithet was actually despair, and so, I mean, it's a perfect symbol back then. I mean, it's been a story before Ukura, it's always been the story of Ichigo, right? And then Ukura that fight apex, right? And then we even saw after that, against Aizen, not exactly the case, and I mean, at the beginning of the Aizen Ichigo, absolutely the case. I mean, it's pretty much impossible for him to fight Aizen, right? And he's talking to his dad, Ichi, and he's like, Ichi, how will I ever fight this guy? It's impossible. He's like, Muri dane. Just give up, it's impossible. And Isshin says, actually, there's one way, there's one thing that we can do, okay? Let's give you the final Getsuga Tensho. And the thing is, in Ichigo, post-Danga Ichigo, final Getsuga Tensho, fighting Aizen, there's no despair in Ichigo, because he's stronger, and actually, technically lost that fight, right? But then Aizen was sealed, so Ichigo himself didn't actually do anything, and so that despair was never actually resolved. Right, or maybe it was resolved internally in Ichigo's post-Dangai training state. I mean, technically, we may have seen the despair being resolved then, but in actual terms of combat, it was never resolved, and it's coming back up again in Yhwach because this is his next big fight. I mean, his only fight before this was against Quilge, right? And that fight mostly was just to showcase the Quincy abilities. Like, that's pretty much it. And actually, even though he technically won that fight, I think he was caged, right? So that kind of despair element was brought back up, and he never fought until now, right? And so he's fighting again, and he brings this despair back up, and I guarantee you guys, it's not a coincidence. And I'm very, very, very confident he's going to get bodied by Yhwach in the next chapter. And I think Dad and Ryukin coming in is no coincidence, because I know Ryukin knows Yhwach. I mean, obviously he knows Hashwell, and I think Ryukin is not going to go to Yhwach. I think he's going to go to Hashwell, and he's going to talk to Hashwell. Pretty sure they know each other. But with that being said, I actually think afterwards, I think what's going to happen to Ichigo is that he's going to find a way to defeat Yhwach, right? I mean, because it's like, he will, or maybe even if he doesn't, Yhwach's going to be defeated, right? And I think Ichigo will play a vital role in that. And so, I mean, don't take that away. And also, we got to talk about another prediction that I'm probably going to be talking about this every day for the next 3 months. Who's the final villain? Is Yhwach really the final villain? Because if Ichigo Ichigo and Yhwach are fighting right now, and their fight seems to be peaking. And if Ichigo really beats Yhwach, which he won't, but if he did, Yhwach's obviously not the final villain. Plus, what if he doesn't? I mean, if he doesn't, which I can guarantee you he won't. I mean, I'm really excited to see Ichigo's bankai form, and I mean, 678, I know we're going to see it. And this first 5 panels, I mean, you guys know I'm going to freak out, and I cannot wait to read this and freak out a little bit. But he's going to get bodied in the rest of the chapter. And actually, that kind of brings up another point. What is Orihime's for this? Because, I mean, the thing is, Orihime's right there, and this fight is no coincidence that we're seeing Ichigo, we're seeing his hollow form, his hollow Quincy, form. We're seeing the talk about despair against an opponent that he's pretty much no hope of beating, and then Orihime's right there, and I mean, and then the whole Soul King question mark. I mean, there's not coincidence, and that's why a lot of people are suggesting that actually Orihime is going to die as a result, because that would pretty much put Ichigo overboard, right? I mean, for Ichigo as a character, for him to simply lose a fight, it's not that big of a deal, right? He doesn't really mind that much, you know? The big thing for him is as if his friends are in trouble, right? It's the people he wants to protect. If he's not able to protect them, that's the big issue. And so he's not, I think putting Orihime in a position where she's not safe, yeah, I do think that would put Ichigo at peak despair. But I like Orihime a lot. I think a lot of people like Orihime, so I don't think she's gonna die. I think she's just a cool character. I think something else will happen where if she does die, she'll either be resurrected or she will barely live, and then actually she'll realize she'll play a much larger role in the story. I think people are underrating that. One other thing we talk about is Ryukin. So both Ryukin and Ishin, like Ishin's already had a role. He had a role, but he played a role in the Aizen Soul Society arc. Like hey Ichigo, he's a post-down guy. I mean, the guy was fucking strong, and he never even won bankai. So he's gonna. I think he has more of a role, but he's already played a role, right? I mean, we already know Ryukin has played almost no role in this story, and this guy. I mean, this is a guy that almost certainly has to have a play role. Like, and he's a Quincy. He's one of the first introduced Quincy's. He's Ishida's dad. He's really powerful. I mean, this guy's no joke. Like, why is this guy not being played a role? Why are more people not talking about him? I mean, he's one of the most important characters in the series right now, and no one is talking about him. Everybody thinks that Ishida's gonna go save Ichigo, and then Ryukin's gonna go save Ishida, right? And I mean, I sort of agree. I think Ryukin's gonna go talk to Hoshwalt more than saving Ishida, because I can guarantee you guys they know each other. I mean, they look the same. They're both Quincy's. Ryukin might have been a royal guard in the past, guys. There's no way to say no. And actually, I do think he was at one point a royal guard. I think he was at one point one of Dubak's elite exterminator. And also, actually, a lot of people are saying then, will Ishin save Ichigo? Because then, if Ichi doesn't save Ichigo, what's happened to Gerard? Because they're losing the fight against Gerard, and it seems like they can't really defeat him, right? And maybe Ishin Bankai could, but actually, I don't think that's happening. I think that Ishin is going to go to Ichigo. I think Tessai is going to actually is going to fight Gerard. If you guys remember Tessai, he was Urahara's Kido. He's a previous Kido master. He's pretty much Urahara's, his assistant. I mean, he is a store clerk or whatever. But the thing is, the guy's really cool. I haven't seen enough of him. He's a master of Kido. It's just big because, I mean, that would explain. Okay, that's how you can beat Gerard. I mean, Gerard's like immortal, right? But I mean, if you can lock him down with Kido, it doesn't really matter. So I think that's why Tessai. I really do think Tessai is going to show up and he's going to fight Gerard. The last thing I want to talk about, the last of my crazy theories, is actually the Urahara is going to be either the final villain or he's plotting something right now. I'm not necessarily, because I don't really see Urahara as a villain. I mean, this theory's been floating around literally the past 7 years. And honestly, pretty much since we first saw Urahara's character. Like, it's always been a theory. And I just don't think it's going to happen because, I mean, Urahara's character, he's not really villainous. He doesn't have, like, a purpose to be a villain. I mean, like, why, if he did it, it'd be cool, but I mean, I wouldn't really feel it. But I do think he's plotting something because him and Askin are locked inside of a gift ball that you can't exit, right, without Askin deleting it. And then, more importantly, it's hard to enter, right? So it's like, they can do anything they want in there. And the thing is, Askin's not necessarily a villain either, because that character has been ambiguous too. Plus, we've seen Quincy's, turn sides anyway, so it's like, the odds of Askin turning sides it's very likely that both Urahara and Askin are plotting something inside that gift ball. So anyway, it's been realistic guy book, and I'm coming out with some crazy Bleach theories that I just made up, but also some 678 predictions for you guys. So now I'm peacing out. It's been real, dudes. Love was so cold for my love. Alright, guys.